Oh, before we start, I'm sorry. I don't know if they introduced you already, but this is Blue Miller. Yes? He's my co-writer on a lot of my songs, Ready for Love, and a lot of good stuff. And these are my background singers and my friends, Amitria Doc, and Shantae Can, and this is my mom right here. And those are her handmade handbags, and she made this. And she made me. Okay. 1, 2, a little bit slower. 3. Oh, 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 hey, yeah, 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 oh, 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 yeah, 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 oh, 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 I need your therapy, I need you to come and lay hands on me, I need your therapy, hey. He lays me on the couch and says, how has your day been? Tell me your problems, I'll help you solve them. Come on, let's talk about it. He sits next to me and smiles, listens to all of my words, relaxes all of my nerves. Like breathe in, breathe out, let it go, shut it out. Take deep breaths now, real slow and calm down. Close my eyes, arms fold, ease my mind, all of my body, please. Work your psychology. You've taken good care of me, always been there for me. Boy, I can't bear to leave, 'cause I need your therapy. Giving me everything, so much I ever could need. Without you, I awaken the need. I need your therapy. Oh, 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 oh. I need your therapy. Oh, oh, I need you to come and lay hands on me. I need your therapy. He puts his hand on my lower back, his face in my neck, and says something to make me laugh. Makes me forget I was mad. His touch feels so right, it's like he's reading my mind. Yeah, I need him all the time. Like breathe in, breathe out, let it go, shout it out. Take deep breaths now, real slow, calm down. Close my eyes, arms fold, ease my mind, control all of my body, please. Work your psychology, taking good care of me, always been there for me. Boy, I can't bear to leave. I need your therapy, giving me everything, so much I ever could need. Without you, I'm waking up. I need your therapy. Oh, 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 oh. I need your therapy. Oh, oh, I need you to come and lay hands on me. Oh, 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 I need your therapy. Oh, oh. When it feels like I'm losing power, when I feel like a wilting flower, the way you touch me says there for you, and it heals me just to hear you say I love you. Taking good care of me, always been there for me. Boy, I can't bear to leave. I need your therapy, giving me everything, so much I ever could need. Got you always here, yeah. Hey, oh, 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 hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you.
India.Arie, Sophie at 1037 and RadioSophie.com. Welcome to San Diego.
Thank you so much.
And especially welcome to Sophie's Lounge. And I have to say, one of the coolest things I've ever seen in one of our lounge performances is your mom singing along to every single word right there in front of us. Safe to say she's probably your biggest fan.
That's what she says.
Now, does she travel with you all over the place or just from time to time? Only when you come to pretty places like San Diego?
She comes when I need help. I went out, I did a few shows, and it was fun. Being on stage is fun. Everything else is work.
Yeah.
And I was like, Mom, I need help. And she was like, I might go. Like, no, I need help. She's like, okay, I'll go.
And your mom made that handbag right there.
Yes, and that black one.
Oh, my.
And this belt.
And you used to, or do you still? I understand that you made jewelry for a while before you got into this business, right?
Yeah, kind of. I sang all my life.
Mm-hmm.
All my life. I was obsessed with music all my life. My mother's a singer. And when it was time for me to go to college, my mom told me I had to go. And I chose to go as a jewelry maker because it was something I was interested in. Mm-hmm. And I got a scholarship for it. And I was supposed to get my Bachelor of Fine Arts, which was a 4-year degree from Savannah College of Art and Design. But I didn't stay. I stayed for 2 years, and then I started playing guitar under the trees in Savannah, and 12 years later, this is where I am.
What was the turning point when music became a career for you?
This is funny. I never thought about this, but actually, I remember I started playing guitar and writing songs at the same time, and I had 3 songs, and I went to a coffee shop in Savannah. And I didn't get paid for it, but there was an audience there, and I was super nervous. So I sang my first song with my eyes closed, and I opened my eyes, and the whole coffee shop had filled up with people up to the front, like they were right here. And I was like, I might do this. And maybe like 6 months later or something, I left school, and I started getting paid for my first shows, and just been doing it.
Okay, well, since Mom's sitting right here, I have to ask, when you said, Mom, hey, so I'm gonna stop college and go off and try to make a go of this whole singing career thing, was she horrified, encouraging? How did that go down?
It was a little bit of both, because she wanted me to get my degree.
Right.
Because my mother's generation, in our family, my mother's generation, none of them had their college degrees. They're all experts, just natural life experts, especially my mother. She has a PhD in what she does. She knows more than anybody I know about sewing, about color, about fashion and all this stuff. She knows it. She doesn't have a degree, so she always wanted me to have a degree. So she didn't want me to quit school. And I tried to transfer, and something happened. But one morning, I woke up, and she said, I'm going to give you 1 year to live here with me, and we'll see what happens. And I don't remember, but she always says 6 months she was making her own money. I don't remember it that way, but 12 years I'm definitely making my own money.
Yeah, I would say you are. And
doing
you're
pretty
getting,
good.
You're doing okay. I mean, when somebody gets an invitation to the White House, I'd say they've kind of sort of made it.
Yeah, it was kind of sort of crazy.
Okay. Your feeling when you got an invitation to go to the White House with Barack Obama and Michelle Obama and Stevie Wonder, how did you feel when that happened? And how did it happen?
Okay, I want to backtrack for a second.
Go for it.
Because I have this thing, I can't think something really hard and not say it. The other part of my mother, she was horrified because she wanted me to get my degree, and I didn't. The other part of it is that I've always been a musician, always. I was a little kid, like, obsessed with Stevie Wonder records and writing the lyrics out of Anita Baker songs, and like obsessed with music, and my mother knew that. My brother's side of the bedroom, because we shared a bedroom for a long time, his side of the bedroom had sports posters and basketball and all that. My side of the bedroom, I had flutes, longest, short, in the windowsill. Like, that's what I always did. So my mother knew that and was always supportive. And what I appreciate about that is she never told me I had to be anything. She told me I had to go to school because she knew I wouldn't go if I didn't have to. But she didn't tell me I had to sing. She didn't tell me I had to be a doctor. She didn't tell me I had to anything. So it gave me the confidence to do this. And so tying it into the White House, the way that I got invited was not everyone else on the show. I assume they got a call from the producer of the show or whatever. I got a call from Stevie Wonder. Right, and that's what made it crazy because my album came out February 9th, this album, and I did a lot of days on the road and I was at home tired. And I have a place in my house I call the windowsill. Just by a window, it's a little tiny thing and I love to sit there all day when I'm just taking a break. And I was sitting at my windowsill and Stevie called. And I was like, I don't really feel like talking right now because my voice was so tired. And so he called my assistant. And he was like, tell her to call me. And I didn't know what it was about. She said, he wants you to come to the White House tomorrow and sing tomorrow. And I was like, oh, okay. So everything stops when Stevie calls. So I jumped up, I went to DC, and I did my performance with no rehearsal. And when I walked out, it was the vice president and his wife, and then Mr. and Mrs. Obama, and then Paul Simon, and then Stevie Wonder and his wife, and I just looked. I was like this, and so I just stood. And then I felt something, because I feel like all this empathy for Stevie Wonder, because he's been a part of my life all my life. My mother actually opened for him when she was in college, so he's been a part of my life all my life. So I feel this empathy for him, and I'm looking at him, and I felt like it was a special day for him, because I've been around him a lot of times. And just something about how emotional he seemed made me emotional. And I just was crying the whole time, and I kept trying to catch the tear like this. And I was singing a song that had all those weird Stevie Wonder changes and trying to think and trying to focus on them, and then my feet were hurting, and my shoes were super high, and it was crazy. It was like a lot, but it was beautiful because, and I told Stevie this yesterday, I saw him yesterday, day before yesterday, that it was an honor for me because of all the people he could have called and said, I need you to be here. It was me. In the White House and all that was cool, but it was especially cool because of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely want to hear a little more of this story next, but yes. First, please, another song from India.Arie in Sophie's Lounge on Sophie at 103.7. And what are we going to hear?
Pearls.
Yes.
You should have told me you wanted me to do that. Before we sing this song, I just want to say it's my pleasure to be here. I felt like you felt that, but I didn't say it. And I didn't know we were coming to such a prestigious establishment. I was looking at the posters in the dressing room like, what? It's crazy. So it's an honor to be here. Thank you. I keep waving at Michael, but he won't wave back. Thank you. So this song right here is a remake of a Sade song. She changed my life by taking me on my first tour. And as well, this album is called Testimony Volume 2, Love and Politics. And for me, an album that has politics in the title, something on that album has to address the violence against women in the world and all that's going on in the Congo and Rwanda and Somalia. So this is for Sade and for those women. And you guys might recognize this. There is a woman in Somalia scraping for pearls by the roadside. There is a force stronger than nature, keeps her will alive. That is how she lives her life. She is dying to survive. I don't know what she is made of. I would like to be that brave. She cries to the heavens above. There is a stone in my heart. She lives a life she didn't choose, and it hurts like brand new shoes. Yes, it hurts like brand new shoes. And it hurts like brand new shoes. Oh. There is a woman in Rwanda. The sun shows her no mercy. The same sky we lay under burned her to the bone, long as afternoon shadows. It's gonna take her to get home. Each grain carefully wrapped up, pearls for her little girl. Hallelujah, hallelujah. She cries to the heavens above. Like brand new shoes. Yes, it hurts like brand new shoes. And it hurts like brand new shoes. There is a woman in Somalia. There is a woman in Rwanda. There is a woman in Sudan. There is a woman in the Congo, and she hurts like, and she hurts like, and she hurts like brand new shoes. Thank you. Thank you.
India.Arie on Sophie at 1037 and radiosophie.com. I can't hear that song without asking you about Africa. And you're a UN ambassador for UNICEF, and you've been several times. And every artist I've ever talked to, and the one that's in my head right now, an artist named Gavin DeGraw recently went to the Congo to distribute mosquito nets to help prevent malaria.
Okay.
And he said, as every artist I've ever spoken to that's taken that kind of a trip to Africa, it changed him to the very core of his being. Like, he will never be the same man. How old were you when you first went to Africa, your first visit?
Okay, see, so I told you I have this thing. If I'm thinking it, I have to say it.
Go for it.
I've been to Africa several times, but usually I go as, my mission statement with my music is to spread love, healing, and peace through words and music. So I go as a musical peace ambassador. I've been with UNICEF one time.
One time.
And I also went with the Global Fund. Same trip, but two different parts of the trip. So I was in Kenya, and then I went to Mombasa. I did a little bit of stuff in South Africa with UNICEF, but very little. But my point in saying all that is, one, I like to say my mission statement, because to me that's my greatest social work, even before UNICEF or anything I've ever done for me. My music is my greatest social contribution. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to be applauded for that. But one trip I took to Africa with UNICEF did change me to the core. Even when I go as a musician, it changes you to the core because you see all these different things. But it changed me to the core because it's so, what's the word I'm looking for? You see it on the news and it's easy to be desensitized to it, but it's also so easy to just not know how little it takes to help a lot of people. We spent $400. $400. I just bought some Uggs that cost $400 and bought food for this whole village. Wow. Just food and canteens and, just stuff that they needed. Blankets, candles, matches, stuff like that for a whole, they call it slums, the whole slum, just all these people who needed this stuff. It was $400. But even you see this stuff on the news and your heart goes out to the children especially, and you see them and they look so sad and sick and all that. But if you knew that it was just $400, it's crazy. That opened my eyes because it's so easy to not even know. Because just the exchange rate alone, when you travel around the world, you don't know that until you get there. You don't understand what it means and what the dollar being strong means. I didn't understand what that meant. Going to Kenya and doing that was an eye-opener. It makes me look at a dollar different. Yeah. A dollar, yeah.
Well, it's hard, being over here and seeing stories about poverty and disease in Africa. You think, oh, well, I wish I could help.
Yeah.
And you don't realize that you can, that, a dollar does indeed make a huge difference.
But, even when I was there, I felt like it's so big. What do you do?
Right.
Because you
Where
hear
do you start?
Right. But then it was like, well, if we can help these 500 people, that's 500 people. But it's amazing because I don't even know how to put it into words. It's like it just changes you to your core. Yeah. You never see anything the same. Like people would shoot. My mother said the other day, my mother's a songwriter. She wrote a song on this album called Long Goodbye. And we were in the car the other day and she said, we just sang Pearls, and she said, and it hurts like Jimmy Choo's. Because you don't look at anything the same, You don't look at anything the same. Yeah. How much a pair of shoes cost. Yeah.
Are you in a hurry to go back, or is it something that you need to mentally prepare yourself for?
I'm not in a hurry to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Because I like to sit in my windowsill, really. But I would go back anytime. Anytime. I think that really, I always feel kind of, for lack of a better word, and actually I think this might be the perfect word, it feels kind of strange for people to say, you do these things and you go to Africa and we love you, because it's not even that. I get to go to Africa and I get to explore the world and I get to learn about the world and I get to see what people are going through and I get to see how I can help and how I can be a better person. I don't feel like I'm doing anything for them. And when I was there, I kept making myself not cry because I was like, I'm not gonna cry because I'm sad for them. They should be the ones who have the tears. If they can smile and be happy because I'm here, then I'm gonna smile and be happy. And I remember I got to talk to Oprah shortly after I came back from Africa, and I was like, what about the crying? She said, I told myself no more tears, just no more crying. Because it's not that you don't want to cry and show that you care, but it seems like you show the opposite sometimes when you cry because it's that heavy. Like, if they're going to smile, I'm going to smile. Yeah. But I will go back anytime. Anywhere, actually.
Yeah, well, you're in the middle of a big tour, and you get to go all over America. And I do want to bring it back to the White House real quick, because that is such a crazy honor. And I read that Michelle Obama said some very complimentary things about you. Mm-hmm. And do you remember what she said, and would you mind sharing that? I know it's weird saying nice things about yourself that other people said about yourself, but it was so cool.
Well, I don't know exactly what you read, but my most profound encounter with her was at a fundraiser concert. And the whole day was cool because John Legend and I opened for Bruce Springsteen and Billy Joel. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. And it's crazy because I kept thinking about Bruce Springsteen all night. I was like, he's going to be there? And then when I got there, as soon as I walked out on stage for sound check, he was like, hey! Just like, he opened his arms, and I just ran straight to him. And he was just so sweet. That was my, meeting Barack saying my name, because he was like, give it up for India.Arie, John Legend. That was my favorite part, and meeting Bruce Springsteen was my favorite part. But I was there, and I don't know if it comes across that way, but like I tell you, like I really like to sit in my windowsill, and I'm very, I wouldn't be an extrovert at all if I didn't feel like I had something to say through my music. And so I'm very introverted, I'm both, like that weird combination like artists often are. So the Barack Obama was there, Michelle was there, and everybody was like around them and, you know, like in their space and stuff, and I was just sitting to the side, like, cool, like they're right there, it's crazy, it's great. It was enough for me to just see and know that I was on the show, and then I got to sing with Bruce Springsteen. That was enough. And so I was sitting there off to the side, and Michelle came and sat by me. And I was like, hi, and she said, hi. It was just like, you know, just a nice lady. And she said, proud of you, and she nudged me like that. And I said, thank you. And she said, out there on the campaign trail, something to the effect of out there on the campaign trail, your music really gives me that boost of energy I need. And I said, thanks. And she said, no, it's my favorite. And I was like, you know, thanks. And she said, no, you have to understand that I mean, it's really like, you're my favorite. And I was like, thank you. And she said, proud of you.
That's huge.
Yeah, and you know, and then, yeah, that is huge.
Wow.
But I mean, I think I have found, because my two things. I also told her, because I have a label called Soulbird, and my best friend Anthony David is on Soulbird. And she had said in a Marie Claire interview that she was listening to Anthony David. So I said, that's my best friend. And she said, oh yeah, I love his music. So I texted her, I was like, I talked to her, she said. She said she loved your music, I talked to her, I said your name. But my journey in the music industry has been very different because it didn't look the way that I thought it was gonna look. Like for me, every artist has a dream of, you know, going up on the stage and winning all the awards, and like everybody wants to win a Grammy and say thank you, mom, and be on TV. Like that's what you think of when you're a kid and you're a singer and you think of that as success. And a lot of that, I got like right to the edge of it and then didn't get the chance a lot of times. So I've had to redefine what success is. And for me, I get so much love from people. And even like Michelle Obama, like what she said, I hear things from people that are so amazing that I wouldn't trade this success for that any day. And a matter of fact, the last time I was in San Diego at Humphreys, there was a lady who gave me a picture of a little girl who had passed away. And the first is the picture, and I was like, oh, she's pretty. And she started crying, and she died. And she said she had cancer, and she lost all her hair before she died. And we used to listen to I'm Not My Hair every day, and we would put her name in there. And I don't know what other singers or artists have what people say to them or whatever, but people say the most profoundly moving things to me about my music. And when I'm in those moments, it's not really like, oh my God, you're that girl from TV, I love you, I love your dress. It's not that. They're like, this song, that song touched me so like that. And so Michelle saying that is awesome. But people saying those kinds of things and those kinds of people who are really smart and doing things in the world saying that they relate to my music is like, ugh, you know. Ugh.
You don't make fans, you make connections. That's just seems to be how it works with you. And
that's
everybody,
my goal.
Yeah, everybody.
And I said it backstage, but thank you for your article. That's one of my favorite things I've ever read.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
I wrote a little article about India's song video in the latest issue of The Reader. If you want to grab it on the way out, feel free. But
the article is so good. Thank you.
You're awesome. All right, so I'm going to cry while you play another song. India.Arie in Sophie's Lounge, Sophie at 103.7 and radiosophie.com.
Is my flute in there? My flute? I think I brought it. Yes. I'm gonna do He Heals Me. So I keep saying that on this album, Testimony Volume 2. I realized after it was done, so it's called Testimony Volume 2, Love and Politics, and that meant that there were love songs and political songs. But after the album was done, I realized they're all love songs and they're all political songs. And this song right here is a perfect example for me. Because for me, it talks about how a relationship should feel. And like Stevie Wonder told me, love does not hurt. And yeah, this song is called He Heals Me. I told him my biggest secret, a little faster, and he told me 4. He smiled at me and said, that makes me love you more. And then he made me laugh, and I knew it was a sign that he was a man that I wanted in my life. And with every passing day, I feel more and more that way. He heals me. He knows the real me, and he accepts me. He never hurts me. He heals me. He knows the real me, and he accepts me. He never hurts me. He heals me. I can play him songs all through the night, and he will listen to every line. And even when I'm wrong, he is still kind. He chooses his words wisely when he tells me I'm not right. And yes, he's a beautiful man, but he's also a beautiful friend. He heals me. Yes. He knows the real me, and he accepts me. He never hurts me. He heals me. He knows the real me, and he accepts me. He never hurts me. He heals me. He heals me. Bridge. The moment that we met, he made me smile. He had so much compassion in his eyes. I have no idea how long he'll be here. A season or a lifetime, forever or a year. But for the first time in my life, I'm not worried about the future, 'cause we have such a wonderful time when we're together. However things turn out, it's alright, 'cause he's already changed my life. He heals me. He knows the real me. He always accepts me. He never hurts me. He heals me. He knows the real me. He accepts me. He Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you to Anthology in San Diego for having us here today.
Thank you, Anthology.
Thank you,
I love this
India.Arie.
place. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anthology, Doc, and Shantae Can, and Blue Miller, and Mother.